We're going to be working on these fun transfers today. So I need to make signs to go with the transfers because we always like to mix and match a little bit of stenciling. The Wintertime Elements, that's it there, Wintertime Elements, that's what it's called if you need to look it up on the Essential Stencil site. Now these are beautiful. We've got wooden twigs here, we've got berries, we've got poinsettias, and today I'm going to be using the mistletoe because I found a stencil to use with that, a gorgeous cardinal here, and then we've got a smaller cardinal on this side. Beautiful red, wintry theme, Christmas theme. We've got pine cones in there. And all of these you can cut out individually, place on your signs. I'll show you how to do that today. So the first thing I'm going to do is probably get my board ready here. And this one's going to be for my Christmas themed stencil sign today. And I found this set called Comfort and Joy set. This is an older set, so this isn't new. So this one has good tidings of comfort and joy. So if you don't have this one, you might want to pop that one in your cart when you do your pre-orders for your other one, and along with the rub-on transfers. So I found this one with mistletoe on it. Now, so instead of using this picture, I'm going to use the mistletoe that we saw in the transfer set. But I do love the word mistletoe. That fits nicely on my board here. I'm using a round, and someone's going to ask me the measurement. Forgot to bring my ruler. It's one that I've used before, so it's probably on some of my other lives, but you can kind of see it's about as large as my head, maybe. So the word mistletoe fits beautifully on here, and then I'm going to actually cut out the mistletoe here to have a look. We could use some other elements on this board as well, but I'm just going to give us an idea. Oh, there's some silver leaves here too. That looks beautiful. So to give us an idea of placement and that kind of thing, before I get started, I'm just going to cut out our mistletoe bunch. I'm going to pop that about there. I want enough room for our mistletoe to be able to hang up the top, so that's perfect, and then it gives room for something else down the bottom. I could put that down the bottom, put the mistletoe in the center, and I was thinking meet me under the mistletoe. The words at the top don't quite fit on my sign, but we could put meet me, then under these. So I could try that. We will see how we go. But first I'm going to get this mistletoe. So I'm just using a very wet brush, and I'm going to dip that into some, this is fusion mineral paint called Woodwick. And I don't even have anything. I'm just going to go for it. Create a bit of a wash on our board here. Get that stain moving around because I want it a little bit lighter. Creating a wash. So you can see that I've just created with this brown paint a bit of a wood stain, kind of oak looking, I suppose. Okay. So what I'm going to do next, and it's fairly dry, this is absolutely raw wood, and I can feel that it's opened up the grain of the wood just having that stain on there. So I want to create a bit of a border for this. I'm going to create a red background, like a big red ribbon going across, but I want it to be around about the size of this mistletoe. So this is where I'm going to paint red. I'm going to use, let's see, Highlander is a nice color red. This is by Fusion, and it's a gorgeous sort of a burgundy, a deeper, darker red. I like that vintage color red. All right, so I'm going to get my stencil brushes now. I'll use this nice large one. This is our 7/8 inch brush. This brush will just fit inside my... Now, normally, this is not how we stencil, okay, everybody, listen up. When I'm stenciling, we always have our cardboard beside us and we offload. So please don't do this if you're doing it on a stencil, but because I've got all this gap here to fill, I'm going to take that big blob of paint and just paint it directly in the center, working back and forth, but I'm not going to put it near the edges until it's just perfect, almost dried out. So you can see that that is now almost dried out. Now I can go now near my edges and do this kind of swirly motion to fill it in. Now we've got a smaller gap up here than on here. That must have been where we did the mistletoe. So I'm not sure if those other words are going to fit, but we'll see. So we've got that part done. I want to dry that off, and I will in fact just go over that with a brighter colour red, which is Fort York red. Okay, so now I'm going to go over with, I can go over with another large brush because I've got two sets. Sometimes you might want to grab a couple of sets, and I'm going to go this brighter red, see if we can match that in with the fairly dry enough. All right, and again, going into the center, see how that's a lot brighter? It wouldn't even matter if we've got sort of a rustic, streaky, blended look here going on. And that's going to be a little bit more in line with the color of the ribbon on our, also the berries and the cardinal. Actually, the cardinal's probably got more of that burgundy feel about it. But these two reds actually blend together nicely on here. Still see a little bit of that darker red showing through. That might be a nice look. Well, we've just discovered something again. Don't you love just experimenting with me here? Because, you know, if you've watched me for any length of time, you know I'm just making it up as I go along. Yeah, I like that. I do like that colour. It's kind of got a little bit of blended darkish and lightish, brightish reds. That will do us. So that's got us some red going on. We may need those reds again, so I just pop them in a wet cloth to make sure. We'll dry this. Okay, so now we're just pulling our tape back here, making sure, and you can see we've got nice crisp edges, and we can, look, I even recycle my tape sometimes. I just leave it here on the table, and we may need that to hold down stencils in a minute. So here is the colour before, and then here's that nice wood look. So there we go. I love that nice crisp edge that's happening. So we've got a bigger gap here than here. I think that this one is definitely going to fit down here better. So we have the word mistletoe, and that's going to fit perfectly on here. We could just leave it as mistletoe because I'm not sure that well, meet me, it might just fit, you know. Yeah, it will. Under the... It's going to be tight, but it's going to work. All right, I do want to find a white... Let's do our word mistletoe. We'll put our transfer on in just a minute. And getting that right lined up properly. I've got the line of the tape to sort of give it a measurement here. And let's grab some of this painter's tape. Jodie's asking about when the brushes will be available. So are they out of stock at the moment, our regular brushes? The pink ones will be available on the 1st of October. So just keep an eye out right there, I think. Okay, I'm just going to use some of this white paint right here. And I've got a brush. This is fairly large word, so I'll probably use the 3/4 inch brush. They do come in a set of 4, so just use a little bit of that. It's an off-white paint, and offloading as much as we can off the brush so that it's nice and dry. We call that a dry brush method. And then we can go over, swirling, 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 offloading a little bit more. And with white going over dark colours, it's always going to take a couple of coats. So what I'll do is I'll do this bit, and then we can go on to doing our transfer while we're waiting for this to dry. That's gone almost all the way over there, and it's better to have a couple of thin coats rather than too much on your brush and causing bleed under the stencil, which I think I almost had a little bit too much on there. We will just pop this up, and there's the word mistletoe, looking beautiful, but see how it's just, because it's white on a dark background, I've got to go over it with another pop of colour, and we'll use our transfer tool. So this is the we're going to remove the white paper backing. So who was that was here before, wasn't sure about using these because they were scared they're going to mess them up? Well, here is your easy lesson on using the transfers. So hopefully I'm in the right spot here, and we've got our mistletoe with the bow hanging down. Place it where you want it, and then all we're going to do is rub that plastic topping, and that is pushing the design onto the wood. So that's pushing the design onto the surface. Once it's all rubbed on, then I'm going to start lifting from one section, so we can see there's still the plastic topping on the top, and now we're going to start lifting that, and just going to lift that up carefully and gently, and as we lift it you can rub some more if you feel like it's still sticking, and as you're lifting you'll see that the design comes off. So see that as we're lifting, here it comes, and there's the design underneath. And there we go, empty plastic, and we've got our design perfectly there. So I just rub my fingers over the top of that now, and there you go, gorgeous mistletoe on the bottom. So then we've got our mistletoe here, and we can add those words. Remember, I'm going to do a second coat of that to just really make it pop and stand out. So to do these words on the top, I'm going to first of all do the last words first. So that makes sense to go put the meet me on second, because I will figure out this under the, and I'm going to pop this right here so I don't accidentally get that, and I'll try and center it as best I can, okay? Under the, and then we've got the right amount at the edge. You can add a little bit more tape on here just to make sure it's not going to go anywhere. Where's that white brush? Let me know if you've never stenciled before. That would be fun to find out. We have a lot of people here who've stenciled lots, but then we always have people on here that have never stenciled. They'd love to try stenciling. So if that's you, I always suggest you practice on a piece of cardboard or a cardstock, you know, anything like a piece of cardboard is great to practice on. And then as you get more confident and you can see that there's no paint bleeding under the stencils, then you can go on to using signboards and things like that before you then maybe want to attempt, say, a piece of furniture or something. But remember, it's only paint. It can sand off. You can sand it off and start again if you mess up. All right, we've got that on so far. We've got under the, there we go. See how that white is a little bit brighter than the mistletoe word? Oh, I do hope that's the right spacing. I think it is. Okay, so now this time I'm going to tape off the U from that word to make sure I don't get that in the way. But first I think I need to take it off so I can center this. Meet me. So there we go. It's just reaching the, I don't want it to be too close to the edge, and we've spaced out our words nicely enough. Put that tape down here so it doesn't move anywhere. And again, our white paint. Show you that one. Silky chicken transfers. All right, that's looking great. lift that up, and now I'll just go over that second coat of the mistletoe. So we've got Meet Me under, and we've got the mistletoe down the bottom there. And see how that transfer on the wood background probably doesn't stand out as much as it did, as much as it would have maybe on a white background. So you might want to think about that for your project. I'm always here to let you know what not to do and what to do. So there you go, you've got that tip from me. So here's our mistletoe. We're just going to lay that back down exactly where it was so we can go over with a second coat and make it really pop and stand out. I'll show you, I might show you halfway. So see how white going over darker colour always tends to need a little bit more coverage. Same with when we're painting furniture. So a lot of people, when I'm painting furniture, you'll see the first coat go on and you'll think, oh my goodness, that looks so ugly. We call that the ugly duckling phase of furniture painting. And so that, you know, it always looks like, oh my goodness, what have I done? I've messed up this piece of furniture. But then as you layer your coats on and get that colour deeper, you know, the whites, for example, going over a black or a dark wood, then it becomes a lot more, it stands out a lot more. I'm just going to stop there for a minute and just lift up and show you. You'll be able to see from even this distance here the difference in the one coat and the two coats. Can you see that? See the TOE? I haven't done that yet. And you can see a greater difference when we've done two coats of the white. I can see a few encouraging comments there. Yeah, I think it is 10 inches, this board. So if you do have this stencil, it's just slightly larger than the mistletoe word. So this is a good one. But a 12-inch board would be great. Really, any. If you missed earlier, I showed you on the screen behind me the new Christmas designs that are out now for pre-order. So there's Christmas Coastal and Christian Christmas stencils all out, available for pre-order now. So yes, make sure you get those. I just threw something on the floor and then realised I've got my puppy underneath. She'll probably wake up, she's sleeping right now. Meet Me under the mistletoe, how cute is that? Now the other thing we could do, and I thought about this before, is just use the edge of my stencil to create a little bit of a shadow look with that white. I've got hardly any of this white left on the brush, so I'll just see how we go with this. Just creating a little bit of a shadow line, a bit of a depth kind of thing here on the edge of our stencil. And I'm just going around with the brush. You probably can't see anything right there right now, but when I finish, you will be able to. And at the same time, going around the edges with a bit of a flick. And that just, with a dry brush, it just gives you a little pop around the edge, pop of white. It's almost snowy, isn't it? Gives it a snowy feeling. So let's have a look at that and see how that looks. Look at that. So see how I look at that. You can do that with the top of it as well. Or you might want to leave your top just plain. Let's just go over with that. So I haven't put anything else on the brush since I stenciled that last mistletoe there. I don't think. There's nothing left on my board to do. But we'll see. I may need a little bit more with this top bit, or it might not matter. It might still just be subtle enough to give it a bit of a shadowy look. Let's see how that looks. Beautiful. So it's just a little bit more subtle than the bottom one, but I do like the way that's turned out. And if you need any more, you can just add a little bit more here. Now dry brushing. All right, so let's set that one aside to dry. You can pop that back down here. So that was using our transfer Wintertime, and also the name of that stencil pack was Comfort and Joy set, the one that has Meet Me Under the Mistletoe. It's a 2-pack. It also has Good Tidings of Comfort and Joy with some gorgeous leaf designs down there. Great to have you here on our live today. I'll see you again next week for some of those fun Christmas brand new stencils.